Hello, dear friends. Welcome to my podcast, Time for Relationship or Time for Relating, what is called in German Beziehungszeit. I'm very happy to relate in this interview, in this conversation with Sean, who is a man from the US. I met here on Koh Phangan in Thailand, where I am right now. And I'm very happy to share this interview with you. It is about passion, it is about consciousness, about meditation, about the different stages of relationship, and about what is success in relationship, or what is a successful relationship, and what does it need for a successful relationship. So, yeah. What I want to say in advance is that for me it was really special with Sean, because when we first met he just came to me, and yeah, it was obvious that he wants to know me better. And what was really nice was that after really maybe half an hour in the water together, I told him things I usually don't speak out. And the last time I spoke those things, and I would say it wasn't the only times when I spoke those things, was about 2.5 years ago. So yeah, that he created the space and that I felt so comfortable with him, and that he was so inviting also for my inside, my subconsciousness to show up, was really nice. And yeah, he really has this awareness, I would say, and consciousness, and a nice meditative state. You will also feel it in the interview. So yeah, I'm really happy to share this with you, and I hope you have a good time with it. Yeah, who are you?
Who am I? That is a great question. Well, my name is Sean, and I am from the US. North Carolina is where I live, or where I currently, I will say, reside, because I don't really reside anywhere right now. I'm traveling. And here in Koh Phangan, where we met on the beach. And how else to describe who I am? I am a seeker of knowledge and truth and higher levels of consciousness within myself.
I would be curious if there are some things that you explored being on this way, so that you maybe found out about yourself or about life, or yeah, do you like to share some secrets?
How many hours do you have?
Many.
Yeah, I think well, I could speak. There's so many things to say to answer that question. I think what I would share is where my path started. I think it was at a very low point in my life where I was going through a lot of depression, and I think from this place I started looking for answers, looking for something that could help my situation. And I think that is really where I think we're born very conscious, and then I think we become unconscious through the stuff that society and our parents, our peers put into us. And for some of us, we're lucky enough to, I think, have reawakened to that path, to get back to that place that we were before. And for me, meditation, that was a big piece of it. And from the place that I went to meditate, I came to do a transformational training, which helped me to see myself, get feedback about myself, to learn more about myself, things that were in my way and keeping me from having the life that I wanted to have. And that's really where the journey started, there's so many different elements to my path and to where I am now, but I think meditation was really, I guess, what started it all, because that's where everything kind of was born from.
Can you say what meditation gave you, or what you found with meditation, or what? Yeah.
Well, I think at the time, I think there are different stages to that. I think initially it was being in a space where other answers came and manifested. It's like, I think there's an element of, I think of when I look back at my path, like I see all these things that I manifested. That's how I feel, and I think meditation can be a powerful way to enhance that. And then the more that I've gone through continuing with meditation, I think it's given me a lot of calm and ease with life. I think I used to be a lot more anxious and high-strung, and those things have really dissipated a lot. And I think I feel like I'm just at the beginning, you know? So I think really what it gives is, from a spiritual standpoint, it can help us get closer to where we were before with our consciousness. And from a physiological standpoint, it can help us de-stress. And then from a life standpoint, it can help us create space to be more creative and more productive and more effective in all areas of our life.
Wow.
I was very consistent with it, and before my traveling, and with my travels I've been less consistent, and it's something that like this morning I think I did 45 minutes, and yesterday morning I did an hour, but that's been my goal, an hour per day. But it's been hard, and I think, since this is a free-flowing conversation, I'll just share that I know in myself I have this part of me that is looking for new experiences and looking for adventure, and looking to find something that's different or more than I have now. And I think that the path of meditation, of becoming more conscious, part of that is just being able to be present and appreciate what you have here and now, and hear that voice that calls you to go and to do something more, or to see something new, or to do something different, and to be aware of it, and to not necessarily act on it. So it's still a work in progress for me.
Thanks. How did meditation help you in relationship? If there are things.
Yeah, that's a good question. I think in general, meditation has made me more grounded, and it has given me a greater capacity to love myself and to give love, to be more accepting, to be more compassionate, to be less reactive. And it's not like I don't react or I'm always compassionate. It's just I've noticed that, or I've seen that it's helped me in those ways. and I see the continued development I want to have in those areas too. But I think in relationship, compassion is a critical element, and patience, and a willingness to look from the other person's perspective. And I think that meditation has helped me become more capable in those areas. I think it ultimately, I think meditation and mindfulness practices help us become more mindful, more present. And a mentor of mine, he says that presence is the gateway or doorway to all other ways of being. And so without presence, you can't access the other ways of being that can be very useful to access, that are necessary to access.
Great wisdom.
Well, it's not mine, so. I guess it is now, because I have it in me. Yeah.
I would mainly like to talk about passion with you. How would you describe passion?
Okay, interesting. Not the direction I expected it to go. I would describe passion as the energy, and a strong energy that arises within us because something or someone really resonates with some part of us, some deep part of us. And I think from that resonance, that energy comes out, which shows as passion.
So would you say passion shows us, hey, there's something interesting for you, or there's something maybe like home for you, or there's something possible with this person, so potential, or is it
Yeah, it's a good question. I think with people, so like when we talk about a passion we have in life, for me it's birdwatching. That's a passion I have, and something that really energizes me. And I think that being able to listen to our own feelings about something, can help us decide what do we want to pursue, what do we not want to pursue. I think with people, like in relationships, especially relationships, that's what we're talking about, romantic relationships. I think that can be tricky because passion can disguise itself as, for example, a trauma bond. And a really strong, like passion and love are not the same. And so when we feel a strong resonance and passion for someone else, it could be a physical connection that isn't meant to be something deeper. I think it could be the start of something deeper. I think it's something that I used to wonder about, ask myself if I need to have passion to have a good relationship, or do I the kind of relationship that I want. And I do think that passion is a necessary component to a relationship. And I also think that that really strong, passionate feeling that you can have, especially early on, it doesn't necessarily mean that a relationship with that person would be successful.
What is success in relationship?
I think success in a relationship it's a good question. I think for me, it's having both people being supported how they need to be supported, and being heard and respected, and there being mutual trust between both parties, both people. Parties sounds like it's a business thing. And there being a space for both people to grow in the ways that they want to grow.
Nice.
Although there are challenges in relationships, and I think the difference between successful and unsuccessful relationships partly is, or a big piece of it is, how do you resolve and get through the conflict together? And I think what's required is two people who are both willing to take responsibility for their own stuff, I'll say, which stuff meaning their own patterns, their own insecurities, their own past, and a willingness to, or really a desire, a commitment to get through it together. A major pitfall in relationships is when one or both people are not willing to take that responsibility and spend more time blaming and projecting their own stuff on the other person. Being a victim, essentially. And it's a challenge to always be in that space of taking responsibility. I think it's tendencies, it's what is the trend in the relationship. And another coach, remember him saying that, you know, if you want to have a 10 out of 10 relationship, then you need to be willing to always give your own 10 effort and love. And sometimes the other person won't be. That's expected, it's normal. But in those times, to have a successful relationship, when, let's say, they are giving a 2, you need to give a 10. And I think relationships break down when people mirror each other, and one person gives a 2, and then the other person reciprocates with a 2.
Yeah, I read a book about humanity right now from a guru from India, and he says humanity is to not respond in the way we are treated, but always respond in a very high way, or in a way how we want to be, maybe how we want to see ourselves. Yes. exactly what you're saying, that it's so easy to respond in the same way, but really to answer in a completely different way. Yeah, nice thing.
Who is the guru?
I think Bhakti, something with the, I can tell you. I can put it in the show notes. I would like to ask you if you could really 100% choose how you would like to be treated in a relationship. So if you really imagine it's just completely wonderful for you and you really feel completely beautiful and nice and the way you want to feel, how then the opposite side would treat you and be with you.
Patience would be a big one. Patience and compassion. So I'm human and I fall down, I make mistakes. I'm on my journey of healing and becoming more conscious, and having a partner who recognizes that and appreciates that, and also is compassionate and understanding when I'm flawed with my flaws. Accepts me as I am, I guess at a deeper level, accepts me as I am with the flaws and the issues that I have, the imperfections I have. And patience and compassion are all rolled into that as well. Someone who's trusting and not possessive. I think trust is one of the core elements to a relationship that's critical. And someone who is supportive of my direction and my goals, and who also gives me the space I need when I need it. Someone who is loving and kind at her core, and who also is a passionate person herself, has her own passions and goals that may or not be the same as mine, but I think you have to have a similar direction. Really, not the same direction, but you have to want to be going in the same general destination in life together.
Thanks. And then you would feel completely seen and beautiful.
Yeah, more or less. Yeah. I missed a couple, but I think, yeah, acceptance and trust. I think when I look back at, especially my past relationship, those were major things that were not there, that I know I need to have for my partner. And it doesn't mean that everything's great and I don't have more work I need to do, but it means there's an understanding and a compassion to that. The human being I am.
Where would you say is the difference between, or is there maybe also no difference between having a strong dynamic between two people, just because there's much attraction, much energy, and maybe also sometimes then not so nice in how it comes out, but much energy, much dynamic. Would you say that this is passion, or is passion something different?
Well, I don't think as I was sharing earlier, passion in and of itself is not a bad thing. I just think that it doesn't necessarily, having that passion doesn't necessarily mean that a long-term relationship would be successful. Because I think passion comes from chemistry, from hormones, from attraction, and it can also come, like I was saying, from trauma bonding, where it's a man and woman are two poles, right? And in a trauma bond, there are two people who are, one is more of an anxious style, one is more of an avoidant style, and that creates a polarity that can be create a very passionate attraction. So I think it's just something to be aware of, and it's hard to be aware of that, but to understand oneself and one's own attachment style, whether that's securely attached or insecurely attached, and where someone falls, and then looking, okay, if I'm having a passionate feeling about someone, okay, well, where do I see them, and is some of this passion maybe related to that? What I've learned for myself is, from my past relationship, is wanting to heal my own attachment style and become more securely attached before going into a relationship. What else did you ask?
If you think that it's really a, let's say, less conscious relationship, if there's much dynamic in it, or if we just judge it as less because we are not willing to really make those very strong processes, and we maybe run away from so much energy and so much going on inside us.
I don't think that passion is a reflection of a lack of consciousness, necessarily. I think that passion is an ideal to have in every relationship, but it's not necessarily, I think, a necessity. I think trust and respect and commitment are kind of the bedrock of a successful relationship, and I think having passion, maybe different people feel different ways about it. I think it's nice to have passion, and I don't think it means that the relationship is less conscious. I think that, so first of all, every relationship has different phases, and there's the honeymoon phase, which is more passionate, and then there's the conflict phase, which is where the honeymoon phase fades and people wake up to, or start to see their partner more truly. And during the honeymoon phase, it's easier to make allowances for flaws in a partner, or for red flags, for example, things that we're not happy about, and that's kind of all what can come out during the conflict phase, and that's where a lot of relationships end, because there's this feeling of, okay, well, we're having issues, so the relationship must not be good. We must not be good for each other. But when you get through the conflict phase, then is the committed phase, I would say, where you've gotten through the tough times and you've overcome the challenges together, and you can have that stronger, more mature, developed relationship that isn't just built on passion.
Yeah, this is already the end of this beautiful journey, and yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing you next week again. And if you like the video, I'm happy about a thumb up. And if you want to go in contact for me, you find everything in the show notes. I'm happy to welcome you. And yeah, now I want to wish you a pleasant day and some beautiful people around you, good consciousness, good meditation, good being with yourself, and very much calmness. See you next week. Bye.